we're taking a look at Jitsu Squad, one of the newer beat 'em ups out there, and with its out there art style, weapon-based combat, and some light use of command inputs, I really wanted to check it out. So let's get into it. This is Combat Overview. Here we go over the general controls, the main mechanics, who or what we use them on, and then seeing how it all comes together. Our main and only attack is with our weapon on square doing a 4-hit combo. There's delays here too, having some pause combos to work with. They do a lot more damage, stagger enemies a lot easier, and are just fun to toss out. We also have directional attacks on our main weapon, up attack to basically do a DP, anti-air, and it's a great launcher to just start aerial combos. And from what I can tell, you're invulnerable during it too. So you can use those iframes to avoid attacks if well timed, which is pretty cool. Down attack is a grounded launcher that'll sweep enemies off the floor, acting as an OTG too. We even have an aerial version with down attack, doing a sweeping attack to extend combos pretty well. Kinda looks like Meta Knight, huh? Yeah, unlike MK, this angle cannot be controlled or anything like that. It's always that same angle each time. We even have a piercing blade beam sword slash using a quarter circle command input like Street Fighter. We have a dash by double tapping the D-pad. There's no unique attacks out of this like Sengoku 3. It'll just go into your basic combo. So just a good way to move in and start from there. You can grab with R1 and pressing it again will toss him. Turn around and set him behind you too. Pressing up attack during a grab will launch him, going into whatever follow-up you want. You can even grab their attack startups too. But yeah, can throw them into crowds for some crowd control. And if you're fast enough, can follow it up with a new combo. We can also combo into a grab from our basic attacks for some kind of tick throw setup. Only problem is there's no invulnerability or armor to trade hits with when throwing, sadly. Would have been pretty awesome to have like Sengoku 3, Shudders Your Fans, or Fight and Rage. But yeah, so throws aren't as useful here. Now, even though there's some basics missing with this grab, there's something that really caught me off guard. Wow, there's chain grabs here. From that launcher, it'll keep them pretty close to you, and yeah, you can grab them while they're airborne still. So this lets you chain these. And add the tick throw setup on top of that, and slash them while falling and grab them before they hit the ground. So even though some basics around grabs aren't here, the amount of freedom to play with them is kinda high. I'm gonna just let this play out because you can see just how you can freestyle a bit because of how wild the grab game can get. Onto defenses, we have an Ukemi by tapping X on landing to break your fall. There's even a counter on R2. It'll do an auto follow-up attack which leads back into your basic combos, or anything you want really. After landing a counter, you have a bit of iframes too to work with to toss out any attack you want afterwards, which is pretty nice. Just be careful not to mash it because there's some end lag to it if it doesn't connect with anything. But great thing is counters take priority, canceling attacks to do this on reaction, which lets you, counter back to back. And it'll even cover your back too. You don't have to face the attacking enemy to counter them. Now, as you land more counters without being hit, you'll start to build this chain, and the higher the number, the higher damage buff you'll get for your attacks. When it comes to our jump, we can jump cancel, only on hit though because whiffing an attack won't do anything. Thing is, there's no iframes on our jump startups like Shooter H4 for example. Cool, it's a thing, but they missed the point of why jump cancels are useful and are fun to have when it comes to the defensive side. To circle back a bit, that dash has iframes on it, having you zip through enemies and their attacks. You can even dash cancel on hit to move around any messy situations. Looking at the HUD, blue meter next to our icon is health. This red meter underneath is for our super. Now before we go into how we use it, to refill it while surprisingly landing hits, hitting high combos, counters, or anything hype like that does not add to it. When you take damage, it will build up to it slightly, but yeah, you can only refill it by picking up items hidden in breakable objects. Little strange, but yeah. Alright, let's move on. By tapping L1, you go into Fury mode, becoming completely invulnerable as you shred enemies and bosses for a limited time as it drains. You can even use it like a burst from Guilty Gear, knocking people back using those iframes on activation to turn the tides. Or press circle to toss out your full screen super using up half your meter. This will hit everyone. Doesn't matter if they're airborne, standing, or knocked down flat on their back. No one's safe. And that golden meter underneath is energy for our melee weapons. So there's unique weapons you can pick up and each attacks differently. Each of those attacks will use up a bit of this energy. They're powerful, but yeah, limited use. They don't break when it's empty, you just gotta find those refill pickups, just like our super. There's even assist items dropped in select areas, usually little cameos, which is pretty cool, like ukulele or even Maximilian dude. Now it has that leveling up system similar to Shredder's Revenge, how you gotta play through the story mode to gradually unlock your move list so you can get used to all these options. While if you want, you can just go to the settings and instantly unlock them all, so you can hop in with your full kit. Either way, you can play how you want, and that's pretty cool. When it comes to enemies, there's rodent looking guys who will always leap at you. You can parry or anti-air them. Pirates will run back a bit before charging you head on. Gangsters who will shoot you from afar and swing a pipe at you up close. These tanky Oni who can't be juggled, and if you try to jump around them, their club will swat you down, so you gotta be careful about that, and they make for some more grounded counter game going on. These skeleton knights with shields to block your attacks completely. You can wait them out to counter their attacks, which leaves them open, or you can go for a grab with tick those setups, or go behind them with jumps or dashes where they're exposed. Dinosaurs who will do this flurry kick combo having you multi-chain counters back to back. Reminds me a bit of EVA Moment 37 if you ask me. All in all, these enemies are awesome. They have their own unique patterns, and the fact the game introduces more new ones for each and every stage to add to the mix of the other enemies as you progress are fun to mess with. Bosses give a fun back and forth too. Start off with this rival fight who can counter, juggle you, toss out blade beams, and then some. But you can still use a good amount of the tools and mechanics we've been learning along the way to take them down. And yeah, even they got a desperation phase of their own. But you don't have to run away scared because you can counter those attacks, building up some buffs when they're done, or you can use your meter for that Fury mode to iframe through it all. But be careful, using Fury while they're in a regular state will just build up that desperation meter of theirs a lot quicker. And that's Jitsu Squad. It's a very hectic game. You can see for yourself just how flashy and busy the screen gets at times. Can lower the screen shake, but can't help just how huge and expressive sprites are on screen. Honestly, you'll get used to it pretty quick, allowing you to really enjoy just how over the top everything looks. And not only is the art direction very explosive, the controls are snappy and responsive too, because they do fun combos with the DPs, delays, OTGs, character swapping, and more. Most importantly, to back that up, there's multiple enemy types with their own way of attacking, making you approach each one very differently with your options. So you'll change up your tactics constantly from grounded or aerial combos, then mixing in quick counters on reaction. All I can really think of for little changes is possibly a mid-air parry since it's a huge part of the combo game, iframes on our jump startup, and having armor on throws since that's a very needed and common trait in most beat 'em ups, especially since grabs are so fun here on paper, which sucks because you can't use them too much as you like because they're more of a risk than anything, especially with how huge the crowds can be. But hey, speaking of future tweaks, after finishing the game, there's a hint of a sequel, which would be awesome to see someday. And you unlock this tag mode, allowing you to hot swap between more characters on the fly. And speaking of that, the other characters I didn't mention, so there's Baby who uses a lot more projectiles. I think it's pretty neat how she'll change her look based on her attacks. Reminds me of Gem Fighter Mini Mix a bit. And she also has a pogo bounce like Uncle Scrooge that also OTGs. Jazz, this frog mage, can double jump, has a mid-air launcher, so you can launch, do a little combo, launch again, and yeah, then end with your ground slam attack. Then there's charge levels on your projectile to change them up. And yeah, since you're a frog, you have a tether grab too, kinda reminds me of Yoshi. The heavy of the group, Arrows, can take a few more hits, and you have charged melee attacks instead. And okay, after seeing this one, I'm starting to think they really like Smash. Now surprisingly, the heavy cannot walk while grabbing enemies. It's kind of a beat 'em up staple for the heavy to do this, but they have a built-in follow-up during that suplex they do to go into this Azuna drop for crowd control, so that's pretty fun. Even though I haven't used everyone else as much, I can instantly tell they have their unique flair. So they're all fun to use and can definitely lab out some combos if you want. And yeah, there's a training room here too. Yeah, this game is pretty damn fun. Didn't expect it, but Jitsu Squad has a lot more Smash Bros influence than what it leads on. From the tether grabs, the float jump, chain grabs, how some of the air and grounded attacks look like. It's actually pretty cool. It goes further than just directional specials on a single button we see a lot. Takes it a bit further than that, you know? Who knows, maybe we'll get wave dashing in a sequel. That'd be pretty sick. So yeah, check it out if you haven't because it's pretty cool.